A few years ago, I got to go to New York City for the taping of The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
3, 2, 1.
I've been super blessed to have some pretty cool experiences in my career, and one of those for me was actually getting to be a part of The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon in New York. It was the Zac Brown Band who was on, and so I got to kind of do the behind the scenes stuff, the backstage stuff with the band. Of course, like anything, it's not as glamorous and amazing as everybody thinks that it's gonna be. Everything is so much smaller than you expect it to be. The studio in there is, it's tiny compared to what it looks like on screen. We weren't allowed to take pictures in the studio, but it was very cool to walk around these hallways and in these rooms and everything where so many stars, celebrities, musicians have been. One of the cool personal things for me about going to kind of be a part of the behind the scenes side of The Tonight Show now is that I actually was on The Tonight Show as a guest as a kid, and most people don't believe that, but I was. The Boys and Girls Club that I went to as a kid, we were invited because it was the Boys and Girls Club that invented this sport called cup stacking.
They are cup stackers. If you've never heard of this before, cup stackers from the Boys and Girls Club of Oceanside, California.
I actually was part of kind of the initial group of kids back in the early 90s that were cup stackers, and we were the only ones. And so we were brought on to The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson back then, and we did a little race and competition to demonstrate this sport. That was my claim to fame as a kid. Of course, I was wearing a bright neon shirt back then, which is super embarrassing now with the bowl cut haircut. Kind of fun to be full circle as being on as a 10-year-old, and then later on in my 30s to be kind of behind the scenes, walking the studio on the opposite coast. So when I was on the show, it was in California, and now obviously Jimmy Fallon does it in New York. Pretty cool full circle experience for me to get to be on the show as a kid and then be in the studio behind the scenes for my job as an adult. I did spend some time in New York that day because we had this early call time, super early for, I think it was a rehearsal, and then we had several hours off before we actually came back for filming, which is done in the afternoon. And so I had some free time, I just walked around. And so did some of the New York things, obviously Times Square. I went to the first Shake Shack. I went to B&H Photo, which sounds kind of nerdy, but as a video guy, this is where we buy all our camera gear, is B&H Photo. They only have one big superstore. Everything's done online unless you go to the superstore, and the superstore is in New York. So multiple floors of just camera stuff everywhere. And so I spent quite a bit of time in there. Didn't buy anything, kind of regret that. I wish I did. Definitely enjoyed getting to walk around New York and kind of just be a tourist for a few hours.